Hello, viewers. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this short documentary on Cumberland Valley School District's 9th grade academy. Behind me stands the subject of today's film. So, what exactly went into the development of Cumberland Valley School District's CV9? For those who do not know, the CV9 Academy has been live starting with the currently finishing 2021 to 2022 academic year. Who are you and what is your role?
Okay, so my name is Rob Martin. My role is Associate Principal of the CV9 Academy.
My name is Mark Blanchard. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education.
I was formerly at the high school for many years as Associate Principal, and then I was given this awesome opportunity to do something special, which was to be part of CV9 Academy.
I was pretty specifically involved in the making of development of CV9. I was involved in the early stages of design and philosophy for the building. I worked pretty closely with the facilities team on decisions about the physical aspects of the building.
Now, many may be unfamiliar with the concept, but the purpose for such an establishment is to provide a normal, standardized education to solely the 9th grade class and no others. Could you tell me what the basic idea of a 9th grade academy is? Why was there a need for a 9th grade academy? What is the basic idea of a 9th grade academy?
I would say that the basic idea for CV9 was that we wanted it to serve as a transition point for students as they went from middle school into high school. 9th
grade's really hard every year for kids coming in, and especially at a really large high school. Sometimes kids get lost in the mix.
The story starts in January of 2021. With the announcement from Cumberland Valley School District stating that they were going to prepare a Cumberland Valley 9th grade academy for the upcoming 21 to 2022 school year. A fourth of a high school is now being separated from the rest of its class. Just how will this affect the isolated and those who remain together? How will the two buildings be different? And how will this affect the community as a whole? Let's dive deeper. Whereas in the past, all grades from freshmen to seniors have shared a common building for their academic careers, an overpopulation issue created a need for more space to provide a proper education to students, leaving 10th through 12th graders in the same building as before, but 9th graders changing location to a new building. And perhaps just so conveniently, what was previously known as Cumberland Valley School District's Good Hope Middle School had just been shut down the year before, allowing for the school district to be able to renovate the old middle school and turn it into a new entity. How did the idea arise to renovate Good Hope Middle School into the 9th grade academy?
The Good Hope building was a good start.
It was available. It was an empty building that the district owned.
It was already an existing building. We already had the building.
It's a lot cheaper for us to renovate than it is to build something new.
It just fit.
So it allowed us the opportunity to test our theory and philosophy on this transition model before we decided to do something more permanent.
And while they were planning on a release of the educational institution within the year, there was still a massive amount of things to be done. Staff would need to be reallocated, bus schedules would need to be figured out, coursework would have to be reorganized, and the school itself still needed new renovations and cleanups. Could you tell me, in general or specifics, what were some difficulties that made planning and organizing CV9 difficult?
The challenges was, obviously staffing, making sure that we get the right people here, the teachers and staff that believe in the purpose of what we're trying to do.
COVID took a lot of time and energy during what we were hoping would be the year that we were going to commit to planning and developing the program. COVID caused several challenges for us in just the physical renovation and development of the space. And the time and energy that we were hoping to commit to developing the courses and the program and to putting together the staff. That energy generally went oftentimes into COVID mitigation, the things that we were dealing with COVID. So there were a lot of times that we had COVID fatigue as we were working through last school year, and we had to come out of that in order to continue to energize ourselves to engage with what we think was a really exciting project.
The other things that were difficult probably logistically was, just what did we have to order, are we going to have the right furniture, all those things that were coming in to open up a building, because really we didn't have any of that, not to mention just all the construction decisions that had to be made. So
With the school building itself being something that would need to be tackled by third parties, the daily classes and clubs was the focus of our planning committee. Only half a year was left, and the first thing the school board had to figure out was how to shift the classes offered for ninth graders. There had to be a big effort in changing which teachers went where and what they were teaching. In response to that, it was the concern of many that classes would be cut due to a lack of sufficient teachers to be teaching just the ninth grade class. Were there any classes that were taken out for ninth graders just because there wasn't enough staff to teach them?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would say it was necessarily because there were enough staff to teach them, although that's part of it. What we were going for there was that we wanted to develop, as I said, some entry-level courses that gave students a broad experience within these two subject areas specifically. And part of the reason for that is because our elective areas generally get more requests than we do have space available. So really with the CV9 model, we actually added an art teacher to the rotation. And though the breadth of courses that are available to ninth graders may be less, there are actually more students who are taking art classes this year than there were in previous years.
So you could almost see ninth grade now as more of a broad testing grounds, so you have a better idea what you want to do perhaps for the rest of high school?
Yeah, there are a lot of different metaphors that you could use to describe it. Sometimes it's described as a sandbox. Like you're able to go in and kind of explore and play around a little bit and figure out, this is what I'm interested in, this is maybe not what I'm interested in. The other thing that's I think important there is that in the old model, ninth grade students weren't often getting the things that they wanted to get in the elective areas anyway because upperclassmen had priority.
I mean, there was always a concern about freshmen getting the electives that they wanted. And so for the most part, actually there was more opportunity for them to get certain electives because at the high school they were the bottom of the totem pole, so sometimes they didn't get the elective that they wanted. But here, it was a bit different.
Questions continued to arise, however. For instance, how would clubs work? If high school clubs were open to 9th through 12th graders, would you only have 9th grade clubs and 10th through 12th grade clubs? Or, if you would have the 9th graders come to the high school after school ends, they'd be showing up to the main building around 15 minutes later to their 60-minute meetings. That's a fourth of their club times. During all of this, there's the story of how others viewed it from the outside as well. The announcement was met with a mixed bag of reactions and confusion from CV families all around. Aside from general questions about how the new system would work, there were more broad questions asked about how this would socially affect incoming freshmen. With the isolation of 9th graders from the high school, 9th graders would have to be left with less people they know, they wouldn't experience any collaboration with upperclassmen in their classwork, and with that, wouldn't get to learn from those that had in the past served as role models for the developing minds that had just entered the school.
Do you really want just all 9th graders in one building? You know, do they have older students to look up to be, you know, role models so they can look up to? So that, you know, I get that. I think the biggest thing was location and not feeling like they were part of the high school.
These issues were focuses in discussions surrounding the academy, and many were apprehensive about the future.
That is that we wanted students at the 9th grade building to be able to fully participate in the activities at the high school. What that meant was that we had to shift the day at the 9th grade building 15 minutes earlier because we wanted to give students time to shuttle over to the high school so that they would not be arriving 10, 15, 20 minutes late for athletics, for clubs, for activities. We did not want any of the 9th grade students to feel like they were getting a junior varsity experience for any of those things, but that they were able to fully participate. They would be there from the beginning. They would be able to engage in every aspect of all of the different things that the high school has to offer.
And, you know, I mean, the truth of it is we're two different schools, and we are. But we've been able to do things like take our kids from the high school to the Thon Pep Rally. Just recently we took the whole school to go see this week actually, to see the musical, have lunch in the cafeteria, and then you know, now they know where the bus loop is to catch the bus. So it was a nice transition moment. I think they really enjoyed it. And they actually are more excited about going to the high school. I will say though, the class coming in the middle, the Mountain View kids and the Eagle View kids coming together, they really know their classmates now. Our ninth graders became quite comfortable quickly within the first couple weeks here, where at the high school, that I've noticed where it took a month or two before they started, to feel calm. It's just tougher because it's a big school.
This was a very tough and delicate situation for school administrators to deal with. They'd have to rearrange countless staff, reorganize countless bus schedules, and redraft and prepare a whole new set of curriculum while time was running out. The loud bag of mixed opinions on CV9 made it something that many people were expecting to fail miserably when it came out. Nevertheless, school administrators did their best to put the best setup for ninth graders out by the end of the summer. With everything at stake now known, let's flash forward to the present. It's currently the spring of 2022, and the first year of CV9 is coming to a close. Was all the mistrust misplaced? Was the first day as bad as many were expecting to be? How did CV9 end up? Well, in truth, the school's first day was a silent one. Despite the complaints, confusion, and overall apprehension from those outside of the planning process, CV9's release has went on smoothly. Do you have any thoughts on the first week of CV9 and how it went? Did it go smoothly?
I think it went as smoothly as could be expected, given the fact that we still had probably some effects of COVID still lingering around. I think that the opening of the building went as smoothly as could be expected. There are always things with large organizations, hiccups along the way. It's not a brand new building, it was a renovated building. The teaching staff, none of the adults in the building had ever been in the building before. So it wasn't just new for students, it was new for the teachers, for the admin assistants, for the custodians, for the cafeteria workers. You're bringing into one building almost 900 people, and from top to bottom, from left to right, it's a brand new experience for everybody. I think there are going to be a few hiccups along the way. We experienced some of those, but none of them created any sort of consequence that was consequential. So I think the opening of the building, given all of those different factors, especially the COVID factor, I think it went really well.
That isn't to say that people are calling it one of the greatest educational changes of our decade, but rather that the story of its release ends with a pleasant silence. Well, thank you, Dr. Blanchard. Thank you for the interview, Mr.
You're
Martin.
welcome, Sean. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time and your answers.
Thank you. Really nice talking with you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Perhaps what can be learned from the story of CV's ninth grade academy is that big changes within the school don't always have to be bad, and that the knee-jerk mistrust placed into these kinds of changes are sometimes misplaced as well. I've been Sean Hopkins, and that was CV's ninth grade academy. How would you say then CV9 has just run in general then? Is there anything you want to add just in general how CV9 has ran over the last semester?
One of the things that I told Mr. Martin and Mrs. Staten when we were still in the summer of 2021 and the building hadn't opened yet, and they were still thinking through programs and courses and activities for the staff, I said, you can't think about this as a one-year thing, you have to think about it as a 3-year thing. There will be ups and downs, especially in year one as we get calibrated to the rhythm and the cycle and the feel and how kids are going to respond and how the staff, the teachers, how they're going to respond in that environment.
I think up to this point, I think it's been really smooth. We make adjustments as we see necessary. I periodically say, how you doing? How do you like it? I generally get a positive response. And there's always some kids that are like, I wish I would have been at the high school, to feel that excitement that they felt when they went to Thon into the musical. But I think most of them, because they feel safe and it's a smaller environment, I think it's made a difference.
I think that the year has gone as smoothly as we probably could have hoped, given these massive disruptions, especially external disruptions that have impacted all of us.
Time will tell, right? Like how they do next year. Next year will be another moment of time that we have to see, like, are we making a difference? I believe in my heart we are, but you know, we got to take it one step at a time and see what happens.
I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah.